What's up, guys? Julian here with another daily. It's kind of interesting how these dailies are turning out because, like, I have these structure, I have this flow that I want to go through. I have all these ideas, but at the same time, things happen, and I know this is only like my fourth one or something like that, but I'm already. It just feels so natural now. Like a lot of stuff happened today, and it just feels natural to go. Oh man, I want to talk about this. I'm gonna do a daily about it, and just talk to the camera. I don't know. Maybe it's kind of like how people write in a diary or like in a journal, and they just get it out like that. Because to me, I mean, I love it when people watch these, but like that's not. I don't know. Sometimes it doesn't feel like that's why. It doesn't feel like that's what I'm doing. I'm just doing it because I need to get things out. Anyway, today was a really interesting day. So I woke up this morning to go because I got my car wrecked. Oh, before we talk about that, skip. Wait, time out. I want to talk about Friday. So we're still doing that Friday, the Q&A, the little like live chat stream. I'm still planning on doing that Friday night, 10 o'clock p.m. Mountain Time. That's midnight Eastern Time, 9 o'clock California time. So join us. It'll be at Twitch TV/FubsyGamer. I'll put the link in the show notes or in the not show notes in the whatever the notes down below. Oh, I got a little bit wet down there. That's gross. Um, put this over here. Okay, so we're doing that on next Sunday, or I'm sorry, next Friday, Friday the 27th. Also, I want to apologize that the audio in my last video, I don't know what happened there. Well, I do know what happened. It was when I opened that chess program. It opened up because the chess can take audible commands, and so it like doubled my system's microphone. I don't know what it did, but it sounds awful, and I'm really sorry. I hope you're able to listen to it anyway. So, okay. Hopefully it's fixed for this video. Yeah, I won't be opening that chess program anymore. So let's talk a little bit about what happened today. So I woke up this morning, went to go get my, because I was in that car wreck on Saturday. I'm going to adjust this just a little bit. Okay. So I was in that car wreck on Saturday. So today, Monday, I went down to the dealership, or down to the service center to get my car, to get it appraised. I'm going to get this little light out of here too. Sorry, guys. To get it appraised, did that. I had work at noon, so I got down there at about 10. Expecting maybe an hour and a half to get the car appraised, and like the people that I got in the car accident with, they asked if I would. Of course, we did the police reports and everything, but they asked if I would contact them before contact the insurance, and maybe they just pay for it out of pocket, and so that way their deductible wouldn't have to go up. And I have no problem with that, right? I mean, as long as everything gets paid for by them and not by me, I don't care if they do it through their insurance or do it personally. That's fine. Especially because the damage looked very minimal on my car. So I took it to get it, whatever, like I said, get a quote, and turned out the damage was much more extensive behind the bumper, on the front and on the back, because I got squished, right? Um, I don't know much about cars, but there's like a steel bar that goes. Anyway, I don't really know much about it, but that was all damaged, and my car seat, it was torqued. The whole thing has to be replaced. Turned out they were expecting maybe $500 to $1,000, and it turned out to be closer to $5,000 ish worth of damage. And so they fought it. They were like, "No way, we're not paying all that," and blah blah blah. And so I'm like, "Well, screw you. Then I'm just gonna go right through your insurance. Then I mean, I know you don't want your deductible to go up, but if you're gonna fight me, I'm not gonna fight back. Like, it's not worth arguing with you over whether or not I'm gonna have my bumper replaced, right? Like that's retarded. I shouldn't say retarded. That's dumb." And so I went through their insurance. So because of all that, I had to get a quote, and then I had to go get a quote at another place. I get a second quote. Then I had to wait for the adjuster to come out from their insurance. I ended up just taking a personal day at work, so I didn't go into work today. And so what happened is the adjuster finally came out. Everything was said and done at about maybe 5 o'clock, which means potentially I could have thrown on my shirt and tie and gone into work for the last 3 hours, but no. Right, I called out for the whole day. I'm just gonna take my day, and so what I did is I went and played some Magic, and I haven't played Magic at like a local scene since I started working. So it's been like a month and a half, 2 months since I went to like a small little like F&M style tournament. So I went to the Monday Night Magic that we have at a local game shop here, and I was a little excited. I just took my Delver deck that I played in the PTQ with, didn't change a card. Haven't updated that deck with M13 cards. Haven't changed it since the Boise PTQ. But I didn't really care. I just want to play some Magic, and it's Delver, right? I just play Delver's tickets, flip it, and go. So I did that, so I was so excited. So I went down there and got to see all my buddies, and I missed those guys, right? It was a lot of fun. And then I didn't text Josh because Josh, if you can't tell by now, Josh and I, we're pretty close, especially when it comes to Magic. We travel together, we do a lot, we plan together, we test together, we do a lot together. But he didn't ever really come on Monday nights because he works nights at graveyards. And he just never came on those nights. So I didn't tell him I was going or anything like that. I just went. And he showed up because I guess he had to go to work late. It was just like a cool reunion type of thing. I mean, I'd seen him, just at Boise, but hadn't seen him for a couple of weeks. And I was like, "What? You're here? What's up, dude? We're totally gonna rock this Monday Night Magic. It's gonna be ridiculous." And there were a couple other guys there who were like PTQ grinders. So it changed from like a totally casual tournament to like there were like 20 kids there, maybe 25. And maybe 8 of us, 10 of us were like PTQ grinders, and we'd all top 8 PTQs before, and it was really funny. Um, but I want to talk about my experience because I got really frustrated tonight. I got really frustrated with some of the players. So I just want to talk about what happened. So round 1, of course, I get paired against Josh. Now I'm just going to say it. Josh and I are the best players in the room, I would say. And I know it sounds super cocky, but I feel like that. Josh is better than me, but not like an extreme amount, but he is better than me. Um, yeah, I'd say he's better than me. But then me, and then everyone else is below us. He and I, and it's because we dedicate ourselves to the game, right? It's not that we're better because we're so much smarter than them, and maybe, but what it really is we just dedicate ourselves to the game so much. We spend so much time testing and playing the best decks and traveling around. So anyway, so we just, so because of that, round 1, I get paired against Josh, which kind of sucks. Like, I mean, it's just a Monday Night Magic, right? Like, first place gets like 10 packs or something, but just kind of sucked because we had to play each other the first round. So, and Josh was playing his Esper deck that he wanted, his Esper Control Solar Flare deck that he wanted to take down to Vegas, but he couldn't end up going to Vegas. He didn't end up going to Vegas, but he really likes that deck. And I was just playing Delver because Delver's the best, right? And so I had this experience with Josh, right? So I ended up beating Josh. I 2-0'd Josh, which it feels good to beat him, but whatever. I'll talk about the game in a minute. And then I went on round 2, I won that, and then round 3, I won that one. Blah, blah, blah. But like each of my experiences with these 3 different rounds was against 3 very different types of players, and I got really frustrated with some of it. So round 1, I played against Josh, right? Like I said. Game 1 was kind of awkward. I don't remember it all that well. It was really grindy and like kind of gross. You ever had those games? I had like a Moorland Haunt and like 2 Cavern of Souls and then like an island or something. So it was just one of those weird, like I can't actually cast very many of my spells. And I played Cavern and I said the wrong thing. I had 3 angels in my hand at one point, and he's Solar Flare, right? So I played a Cavern named Angel, and the next Cavern I named Spirit, even though I didn't have any Geists in my hand. And that was a mistake. I should have just named Angel with both of them, right? So that way if he Ghost Quarters 1, then I can still cast my angels. Anyway, one of my angels ended up getting there. I got this. I top decked a sword. That card's so dumb. And 10 you. It's just over. And then game 2. I think game 2 I got the double Delver flip, so I got him down to like 12 real quick, and then or maybe 11, 3, and then 6, so 11, and then he Terminused, and then I just kind of grinded him out. I had a Geist's Ancient Shaft that went unanswered, but So Josh is a player that I really, really, really respect. He's my mentor, I would say, in a lot of ways, and he's gotten me to where I am. He's got me as good as I am today. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't be where I am. I wouldn't be doing this right now. So, and I was really appreciative of that because I really like playing against Josh because, as soon as the game's ended, right, as soon as this game 2 is over, and you can tell when someone's kind of bummed out, obviously you lose, right, and you never want to lose, especially when you're that caliber of a player. It doesn't feel very good to lose. So as soon as he lost, he kind of went in the tank a little bit, and I went and reported real quick or whatever. And then, and then we're just sitting there just kind of chatting, and I was watching one of my buddies play, and like Josh's whole mentality was, I wonder where I messed up. That was what he was thinking the whole time. He was like, I wonder, maybe I shouldn't have Terminus then, maybe I shouldn't have cast the Day of Judgment, maybe I should have flashback Lingering Souls instead of Think Twice. He was just going through the plays in his head and going, I wonder where I made a mistake. I wonder how I could have lost. And he asked me questions. He was like, hey, what was in your hand? He's like, because we talk about this a lot, right? So it's very normal for us. But I just want to go through it with you guys. He says, hey, do you remember, when I did this? When I played my Sun Titan, what was in your hand? Oh, I remember what happened. Game 2. Game 2 was ridiculous. I brought in my Phantasmal images, copied my Delvers, and then he Dave Judgmented. And he ended up playing a Sun Titan, and then I imaged the Sun Titan, brought back another image to brought back. I mean, I played the Solar Flare deck with my Delver. It was pretty sweet. But that didn't win the game for me. It was the sword and the angel. Anyway. So he was asking questions, and he's like, what did you have in your hand when I played this? And, and obviously you knew I had Terminus, so you were playing around Terminus, and I was playing around Terminus, and did you feel like, this and that? And he was like, kind of asking those kind of questions. And I was answering them, and I was asking him questions, and, why didn't you do this, or what were you thinking here? Not in an accusatory way, not in a you're dumb, why were you doing that? Not at all, not even close. It was a, hey, I'm curious. you could have flashed back, Forbidden Alchemy, for example, but instead you chose to double think twice. I don't know, that's a bad example, but you understand what I'm saying. We talk about the game after the game, even though it doesn't feel very good to lose. And you can tell, people need their time, right? Josh is one of those players who hates to lose more than he likes to win. He likes winning, but he hates losing. He just despises losing. And so you just give him some space. That's totally chill, and that's fine. Give him space and let's just move on. So that's fine. He took it great, and we just moved on, and he did great after that. So then round 2, I played against an opponent who was fairly new to the game. He was playing a green-red aggro deck. I mean, a green-white aggro deck with like Thalias and Fiend Hunters and like Hero Blade Hold and like a humans deck. And I won. Whatever, just Delver, and Angel and Sword, and just win. Game 1 he won, and then I just got the next 2 pretty well. So, and he took it differently. He was a new player, and he talked to me about, you travel around, that's so cool, and you have a YouTube channel, that's really neat, and I'd like to go to Denver with you guys because we're gonna go to Denver in August, and just kind of stuff like that. And it was fine, I mean, it was just fine. He asked questions. Hey, how can I improve my deck? And I went through it with him, and I was like, take out Descendant's Path or whatever that is, because that's garbage. And put in Restoration Angel, because even though it's not a human, you want that in your deck. And maybe add some red for Bonfire or something like that. Take out this Mayor thing, and just kind of talking about his deck with him. And he took it all to heart, and he listened really well. And he actually made, because it's very casual. It's very casual there. So he made some changes. And he took out Descendant's Path and put in Restoration Angel for the final round. Because whatever, whatever. Especially if you lose one game, then you're going to get one pack, so it doesn't matter. I don't want to talk about that specifically, though. So that was really great. My first 2 rounds were really good experiences. And then my 3rd round, I played against this kid who's a PTQ. He had won a PTQ in Albuquerque. He played in Honolulu. He travels around with us, and he goes to all the different PTQs just like we do. He's just not in our. He's in our group, but not quite. Like I've got me and Josh and these guys from Game Grid. We're in like a group together, like a team. And Nick, my buddy Nick, he is not in that group, and but that's okay. And anyway, he's right outside. There's like circles of groups. You know what I mean? Like we have like our 4. We have like 4 of us who are really tight, and then there's like then you kind of expand. There's like 10 more who like we're really close with as well. And then there's like 20 more who we know pretty well. Anyway, I'm going way too far into this. It doesn't matter. So I'll play against him, and he's playing mono black control. And which right, but like it's not control. He's got like Skithrix and like Phyrexian Crusader and like Inkmoth Nexus and the new Liliana. I don't really know what's going on there. So I end up 2-0ing him with Delver, and he gets really mad, and he's like, "Oh, stupid Delver! I can't believe Delver's such a dumb card," and complaining and whining. And like he's a good guy. Like I actually like Nick a lot. He's a really cool guy. But just right then, it kind of frustrated me. It kind of ticked me off because I was just thinking, like you're a PTQ level player. You were on the Pro Tour. Like you went to the Pro Tour. You just can't. You just can't complain about when someone plays a deck like that. You just can't do it, right? Like you can complain, sorta. Like I don't mind if you kind of vent a little bit because you're like, man, like I vent about Huntmaster, right? Because that card's ridiculous. But like it's fine. It's fair. I mean, it's just really powerful, and people get triple Huntmaster draws, and that kind of blows, but okay, well, good on you. You played Nyapod, which is one of the best decks, and that's fine. You crushed me with it, and well done, sir. But what bugs me is when people complain about you playing that best deck when they should expect it. Going back to chess a little bit, if I go pawn to e5 or e4 or whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 on like my first turn as white. The black player can't be like, come on, man, are you kidding me? How could you do such a move like that? Man, you're such a sellout. You always just play the same thing, right? Like that's ridiculous. Or like if you're playing like poker and you keep like maybe you're playing Texas Hold'em and you get like dub aces or whatever, dub aces, double aces. You get 2 aces and you keep it and then you win the pot with it. It's not like people are going to be like, how could you keep 2 aces, man? What, are you kidding me? You're just a sellout. You just do the best and that's it, right? It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. When Kobe just takes it and just burns past 3 dudes and just dunks it, people don't get mad at him for doing that, right? You do the things that you do well. You should really capitalize on that. Now, if you're doing something that's unfair to the point where it's banned, like Jason Stoneforge, I'm iffy on that one. I still don't think you should complain, but people do, and whatever. But like Delver's a fair deck. It doesn't win every tournament, right? I still think it's the best deck overall, but that's up for debate, right? I mean, that people think Nyapod is the best deck. Some people think the Rug Pod is the best deck, or that maybe Zombies. Or I mean, it's up for debate. You can absolutely go one way or another with it. Delver's Secrets is probably the best creature in Standard, just in terms of power level. Like, being able to turn 1 play it, turn 2 flip it, that's the best thing you could be doing on turn 1 and 2. Snapcaster Mage and Restoration Angel, you want to be playing Restoration Angel no matter what right now. So, but like when people complain, like especially like the level of players that like where I'm playing, in the GPs and the PTQs, when they actually complain about you playing Delver, they're like, oh, you're such a loser for playing Delver. You're just net decking. You're just doing that and the other. It just ticks me off a little bit. It just, come on, man. You gotta get more mature. You gotta be prepared for that. Shaquille O'Neal, is what 7'2" and like 250 pounds, 300 pounds, maybe more. I mean, and sometimes he just gets that. He just turns and just puts it in over you. And okay, that's what he does well. That's what he's meant to do, and he's great at it. And you just do it. You just got to live with it. And you got to move on. You can't become unfair. You can't say, Shaq, you got to start shooting threes because only I can only shoot threes, right? And so only you should be able to shoot threes. Something like that. I walk into a room and I play Delver, right? Because it's the best deck. Because I love playing it. Because I think I'm pretty good at playing Delver. And when you play Mono Black Control and you play that new Liliana and you go 4, Liliana, kill the Delver, lost my Liliana. Or you just paid 4 to kill a Delver of Secrets. You can't complain when I untap and play a Geist the same track. You just can't complain about that. Because I'm just playing the best cards. I'm just doing my best to be able to win the packs, or be able to win the tournament, to be able to improve my play. Now, I'm not saying that nobody can ever complain about it, right? I'm more putting the responsibility and the maturity level on the people who want to get better at the game, whose goals are similar to my goals, who want to play on the Pro Tour, who want to win Grand Prix, who want to be at that level, right, for Star City or Channel Fireball or whatever. Just complaining about that and saying that people are sellouts or saying that people are just net decking and then it's so easy, that's not what it's about. That is not what Magic is about. Magic is about playing better than your opponent, making better decisions. That doesn't just mean during the game. You make a better decision before the game with the deck that you brought to that tournament. If I brew some deck that like nobody expects and I win a PTQ with it, I made a better decision that day. I knew what was going to happen. I bring Delver because I think it's the best decision most of the time, all the time for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't really play it, right? And if you're right there, if you're trying to be with me, if you're trying to get to that level, like I'm trying to get to that level, stop complaining about it. You don't remember in StarCraft 2 when that's a bad example because that was broken, right? So they fixed it. So I was gonna say, I was gonna talk about close positions on Metalopolis and stuff, but that was bad. But like just bad. I can't think of anything in StarCraft. I'm so out of the loop with StarCraft 2 nowadays. You guys know what I'm talking about, though, right? Every game has this kind of stuff, and you go, "Oh, that's so cheap. That's so unfair." Well, I'm just playing the game to the best of my ability, And if it's balanced, then you should be able to do it. Wizards has deemed that Delver is balanced because it is. It absolutely is balanced. So stop whining about it. Stop complaining about seeing that deck. Now, if you just go to FNM, if you're just like a one a week, maybe twice a month, you go to FNM and you're brewing your mill deck and you're having a good time, okay. You can complain about Delver because it's pretty unfair. One of the things that I talk about is when I went to the Grand Prix in Salt Lake City, I didn't get my 3 buys, right? I didn't get them. I couldn't win a GPT. I didn't have the points, so I just had to start 0-0. Work my way up. So one of my goals for the tournament, one of my goals was to get a good card in the Gold Rush, and I got that. That was sweet. And my other goal was to be able to go 3-0 in the first 3 rounds, so that it didn't. Because in my mind, that meant that I didn't screw myself by not winning a GPT. Because I had a couple of GPTs, it was really close, and it just silly things happened, and so I just didn't get there. And I just didn't want that to affect my Grand Prix. I didn't want to lose one of the first 3 rounds, and then go, man, I should have, I wish I won that GPT. Things would be different. I wanted to win those first 3 rounds, and then go on from there, so I could be on the same playing field as my friends who had the 3 buys. So I sit down, round 1, game 1. I got my Ancestral Recall in my pocket, and my opponent goes first, right? My opponent won the die roll, so he goes turn 1 Swamp, doesn't do anything, right? And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. Maybe he's like on Solar Flare or something. And I go turn 1 Delver, and then he goes turn 2 another Swamp, and he plays the 1/1 Flying Infect guy. And my first thought was, oh, sweet, I gotta buy this round, right? Like I just crushed him. It wasn't even close. 2-0, not even close. Now, if you bring that kind of a deck to a Grand Prix, it's your fault. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry, but it's your fault. You need to be more up on the meta. You need to know what's going on better, I think. Maybe your deck is really great, but you can't complain about playing against Delver and playing against, at the time, Frights, or playing against, all these different, the Esper Delver deck. You know, you can't complain about that if you're at a Grand Prix or a PTQ. If you go to FNM and you're playing with your mill deck and you play against Delver, that's, yeah, okay, that sucks. I'm sorry. And probably, I don't know, maybe I shouldn't bring Delver to FNM. Maybe it's just not fair because people are there for different reasons. And so what I'm saying is, I'm not saying it, the people who go to FNM just to have a good time, playing some Magic with your buddies, that's one thing. But like I keep saying, it's the people who are trying to excel and trying to get to the next level. You have to expect the best decks. That's why I was comparing my buddy Josh to this other guy. Is because Josh didn't complain that I was playing Delver, right? He didn't complain saying, "Oh my gosh, you playing Geist in draft, that's so unfair," right? He analyzed the game. He wonder where I went wrong, wonder what I could have done differently. Maybe I need to tweak the deck, add a Ratchet Bomb, or cut an image, or something like that. Whereas my third round opponent, it was, "Oh, you're playing Delver. It's so ridiculous. You're so cheap, you know." And I'm just playing my mono black control deck, and it's so much better. And give me a break. Anyway, I just get frustrated because I like to play the best deck, or what I consider to be the best deck, because it just gives you free wins, you know. Like I said in previous videos, when you do that turn 1 Delver and flip a Mana Link on turn 2, it doesn't exist in chess, it doesn't exist in poker, you know, not to the same level. Poker it kind of does, not in chess though. You can't just do that and then just dominate the game that way. But in Magic, I really like that about my deck, about Delver. Nyapod can do the same thing. They go turn 1 Birds, turn 2 Splicer, turn 3 Huntmaster. Whoops! Like, that's like the best, that's probably the best curve in the game. And then I've seen people go, then turn 4, they go Restoration Angel. And then turn 5, they Birthing Pod, their Restoration Angel, to get a Thragtusk. And you're like, I've seen those games. Nope, can't do anything about that. Like, that's just the best. Well, Delver's the best. Anyway, you know what I'm saying, right? So you just got to get over it. And I was really impressed watching the way, because Josh actually ended up not doing very well in that tournament. Now Josh is like a top caliber player, right? Sometimes you just don't do well. Sometimes it just doesn't happen, right? He just got bad draw. He had to mulligan to 3 one of his games, and he didn't have any lands in the first. I sat next to him. We sit next to each other when we play, right? And he had no land, all the way down to 3. I mean, and his 4 keep was like 2 Oblivion Rings and like a Doomblade and like a Sun Titan. I mean, right? What are you going to do? He ended up winning that game, actually, because he's the boss. But so Josh ended up going 1-2. They cut the tournament short. I'm going to talk about that in a second. But he ended up going 1-2 that day. And he didn't complain about the decks he was playing against. He just, he was just analyzing his own deck. He took it very well. And he understood, hey, you're just going to brush it off. Sometimes you just lose. In the moment, it sucks. Give it 10 minutes. It'll wear off, and you'll be fine again. And I want to get better at that, because one of my biggest things that I have a problem with is if I start an FNM 0-2, which I haven't done in a really long time, right? But like if I start a tournament like that 0-2 or 1-2, I'm done. You know, I just get so disheartened that I usually just drop out. And well, sometimes that's okay. You drop out, go get lunch with your friends. Most of the time, you should stick it out. You know, I mean, in Boise, I dropped because I was sick and I was no chance for top 8 and. But like most of the time, you should stick it out. You know, you should keep playing, especially in FNM. You're just there to have fun. But yeah, so that's kind of what I want to talk about. I want to talk about that and just about complaining and about whining when people play the best deck. And I kind of got that in my system now, so I'm feeling better. So I want to talk about. Shoot, I just had it in my mind what I want to talk about. Oh, yeah, okay. So I don't really know how I feel about this. But like my store tonight, there were like 28 people there. There should have been 4 rounds, right? But at the end of 3 rounds, they called up the 3 undefeated people, and they said, "Hey guys, you 3 are undefeated. We're gonna close in about an hour, and we just want to be done with this tournament. So we're just gonna take first, second, and third place prizes, combine them, and then divide them by 3, and distribute them to all of you guys." So like first place was 10 packs, second place was 8 packs, and third place was 4 packs. So they gave us each 7. And then the one last pack they gave to a random person in the tournament. And maybe I'm selfish, right? But I looked at the 2 guys next to me, and I was like, I could beat either one of these guys. Like, the only person I was worried about was Josh, right? And I got him first round, so whatever. I could beat these guys. And all my packs. Like, I know it sounds lame, right? But I really want those packs. It's like $10 extra store credit or whatever. Now that I brought that up, I told the story. I guess I don't care that much. It's just not that important to me. Extra packs, little extra money. I ended up just, because I don't have any M13 cards yet, so I got, $24 in store credit. I just got 4 Talrans, called it a day. I was going to buy a box of M13, and then I was like, man, there's not a lot in it. if you haven't figured out by now, I speak Spanish, and I really like Spanish cards. Other languages besides that, I don't really care. But I really like Spanish cards. And my shop had a Spanish box of M13, but it was $140 plus tax. It's like 150. I just don't think there's cards in there that are worth that. I think I'm gonna open that up. I'm gonna get a Najani maybe, and like, well, I'm not gonna play a Johnny, or maybe a Talrand, maybe two if I'm really lucky. That's not that great, right? Like that's, I don't know. And like, I don't even know if I want to draft this set. Just kind of looking at it, and I think I might just kind of skip the drafting. Maybe I'll play. Maybe I'll draft a little bit, but I'm just waiting for Ravnica to come out, and we'll just hit it hard then. So yeah, so that's what I want to talk about. I think I got it all out of my system basically. Just playing the best deck and about just that. Just really. Really deciding what kind of a Magic player you want to be. I think that's really important as well. Is to be able to self-analyze, to look inside, and to decide what you want out of this game. Like I said before, I'm competitive, and that's what I really like. I like Magic because I'm face to face with them. I'm looking in my opponent's eyes, and I play a card and I can see their shoulders droop. I just like that. I really enjoy the competitive aspect of Magic. I don't care so much about the actual cards. I don't care about the lore at all. Some people really do, and I'm not saying you shouldn't care about lore. It's kind of like history to me, like Roman history and things like that. I don't care about Roman history. I just don't care at all. But I understand that it should be cared about, and that people should study it, and that people should know it. And I know the basics, but I just don't, whatever. And people, it's all different things. I don't study cooking. I don't cook. But there are people who love to cook. I have a friend who's like a professional chef, works in one of the best restaurants in Utah. That's fine. That's great. People appreciate things in different ways. I don't care about the lore. I don't care about the story. I don't care that, Snapcaster Mage is a wizard and a human, except that Cavern of Souls lets me cast him as a wizard or a human, right? But I don't really care about the lore so much behind it. I don't care about all that as much as I care about the thrill of the game and the thrill of beating somebody and the misery of defeat and just face to face. Like I said, just playing against somebody and trying to read them and trying to figure out what's going on. That's what I love. That's what I love about the game. And I'm a competitive player like that. If Magic was not the most competitive game, if Magic was not, I believe Magic is the most competitive. I think it is. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, not Versus system, which is dead now, or WoW. If one of those gets bigger, if the money gets better, maybe it is better. Maybe I should try. Maybe I should try a different game. But like, I would move. I wouldn't have any problem moving if it became a bigger game, if it became more popular, because I'm not stuck to like the Magic itself. I just like the competition. And that's the kind of player I am. I'm also not here just to make money. Like Josh is like that. He's all about value, So like he'll take his packs and he'll just resell them immediately, and he's figuring out the EV for like this $5 tournament and the prize payouts and things like that. I don't care as much about that, but I just follow him, right? Because he's really smart and he knows what he's doing like that. I just care about like the actual winning. That's what I care the most about. I just like winning. I like to win. Just like kind of like how Josh hates to lose. I watched his this chess training video about if you're a player who loves to win or who hates to lose, and the type of plays you make because of that. And I'm a player who loves to win, whereas Josh is a player who hates to lose, and maybe not. Maybe he can self-analyze better than I can. Anyway, going back to that point, you should figure out what you want from Magic. And then you should play to that. If you want to be a competitive player and be at the top, don't whine and complain about decks. Either play those decks or play other real decks that can beat those decks. But and if you're not that kind of player, if you enjoy the occasional PTQ, you play every Friday Night Magic, well then you're a different level player. That's fine. That's great. And if you go to the occasional FNM and not even all that often, that's awesome too. Magic needs everybody. One of the most interesting things is that a player like me is actually not the kind of player that WotC really likes. I mean, they like me. They like players like me because I'm competitive and I play in other tournaments. But I'm not buying 4 boxes of every new product, right? Like for M13, I don't think I'm going to buy any more cards. I'm not going to buy a single pack of M13, I don't think. I got my 4 Tallarans now. I'm going to get my Augur of Bolas, and I'm going to call it a day. I don't know that I need anything else. Whereas there are plenty of players who are going to buy cases and boxes of this because they just love to buy it. And they just, like my buddy Jake, just loves to buy cards. And that's awesome. And like Magic needs that. Those kind of players are the ones who are like supporting Magic. They're the ones who are making everything else possible. So thank you. Thank you for doing that. I really appreciate that. And if you're one of those kind of players, don't stop. We really need that. Contribute. I love it. But if you're not, if you're like me, then be like that. Then accept that. Then be more mature. Understand what's happening. Understand that if you lost a game, you probably made some mistakes. Not always, but most of the time, there's something you could have done differently. Like I said, not always. Like, look at Luis Scott Vargas, best player in the world probably, and he's scrubbed out of Pro Tours, but he's also won huge tournaments, right? I mean, he wins more than he loses, I would say, in those big tournaments. In terms of like, he's had a lot of great top. He had this perfect 16-0 run in the PTQ in the Pro Tour in Berlin, I think. I can't remember. Anyway, I think I'm about done. I think this one's going to be shorter than the other ones. I don't know how much to teach. Just play the best decks and have a good time. Anyways, I really appreciate you guys watching. Stick and join in the conversation next Friday or this coming Friday, and I love you mucho. That was a kiss.